Hello and welcome to the Slow Ready Podcast, a casual drive into the music and culture of Goose. I'm Alex.
And I'm Mike.
And on today's episode, we had a really fun conversation with Sarah Blazincic and Cari Bryce from the Western Sun Foundation. We discussed their amazing organization and their mission to support small to mid-sized nonprofits while aligning with shows in the Goose community. But first, as always, quick plug for the socials. We're everywhere you want to be. Even the contentious blue sky this week, we're there. So be sure to check us out if you want to follow all of our news and notes throughout the week, because inevitably, as soon as we release an episode, some new news will hop on within minutes. Right, Mike?
Yeah, 1,000%. Tomorrow we'll be hearing about Lunas on YouTube. So, it's just how it goes.
It's a tradition. Every release, we get some new news right after we're done recording. And we're going to get into this amazing conversation. But first, really want to get into the news and notes for this week. We already had covered most of it on our last episode recapping Luna Luna, but just a couple of new things since we recorded there. The first one being All Good Now Festival officially released their daily lineups. So Goose will be headlining on Sunday, June 15th. We had thought maybe they would be headlining both nights based on the way they released their dates potentially. There was a lot of speculation there. But I also had it in the back of my mind this could have been a one-night thing just based on how most bands announce their festival dates. But a little bit of a bummer, but we're still getting one night of Goose. And it's an incredible lineup. Any thoughts, Mike?
So I'll definitely say that I'm a bit disappointed, and judging from some of the conversations I had with you all today, I'm not the only one that's disappointed. I think that there was more than a handful of us that thought that this was going to be an outlier in terms of festivals and we were going to actually get 2 nights of Goose. However, to Alex's point, I was very excited about this lineup from the bottom to the top anyways, so definitely still going to be there both days. Definitely still super stoked about the lineup. Just I thought that we were getting 2 nights of Goose, and I do feel a little bit disheartened by that, but it's going to be a great time either way.
Yeah, it's an outstanding lineup. It's going to be an amazing time. Just real quick, I'll read it off. The first night, Saturday, June 14th, Joe Russo's Almost Dead will be headlining, along with the String Cheese Incident, and then Molly Tuttle, the Disco Biscuits, Neil Francis, Dogs in a Pile, and The Bridge will be playing on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, our guys Goose headline, and following them on the lineup is Lawrence, Pigeons Playing Ping Pong, Mo, Daniel Donato, Eggy, Keller Williams, Grateful Gospel. So it'll be an awesome time. I'm going to try to go in at doors every day and just kind of soak in all the music.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, both days there's, artists pretty much all day long that you're going to want to catch. And so, you're going to have a great time all day long either way, even without Goose being 2 nights. But this lineup is absolutely stacked. And I would go so far as to say this is probably one of the best festival lineups for the whole year as far as jam band fans go.
Yeah, Goose has kind of gotten themselves in quite a few great festival lineups, including their own festival, Viva El Gonzo. This is kind of like a U.S. side Viva El Gonzo here with a lot of the same artists. But the second bit of news isn't really news, just wanted to highlight it real quick, is that Cotter is doing his Colorado run of shows starting today. If you're listening the day this episode dropped, March 19th. He's playing a couple of Cotter and Friends shows with some of the guys from Swimmer, and then Torrin Daniels from Kitchen Dwellers, Casey Russell from Magic Beans. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. He's starting off tonight, March 19th in Frisco, Colorado at the 10 Mile Music Hall. And then tomorrow, March 20th in Avon, Colorado at Agave. And then on Friday and Saturday, he's going to be playing with the Everyone Orchestra on the 21st at the Fox Theater in Boulder, Colorado, and on the 22nd at Cervantes in Denver. So that's going to be all improv shows. If you're in Colorado, be sure to go check out Cotter. It looks like a bunch of really fun shows.
And you just got to give this guy so much credit. He just does not take days off. The dude is just always playing music and all different styles and types of music. He just stays so busy and just continues to be one of the most interesting people in this band since he joined. So yeah, going to be a great time. Colorado folks getting spoiled.
I know. We really got to get out and see some of his other projects, because every time he has something that comes up on the calendar, it's just like the worst timing for me, but I am dying to go, and I love all the videos and photos people post and send us. So really looking forward to seeing what people say about these shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have to get to one of these Cotter side projects at some point here in the near future because they just all seem super lit.
All right, with the news and notes out of the way, Mike, how about we get into our really great interview we did with Sarah and Cari that we recorded just a couple of days ago. So let's dive in.
Hey everyone, we are here with our new friends from the Western Sun Foundation, Sarah and Cari, and we are so happy to have them on. It's an absolute thrill. Obviously, humongous fans of this organization and everything they do. So, with that being said, let's get into some great questions that we have for them. And so, I guess like the most logical place to start would be, could you tell us a little bit about what Western Sun Foundation's mission is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a group of fans. We're all volunteer. We're a board of 8, and but this is all a passion project, all a hobby. And we came together, and we noticed this community in Goose is super special, and had something to give back. So we try and channel that energy and passion that we get from being together at the shows, from the music, into doing something good. Lots of other similar organizations like Fish's Mockingbird, um, Dave Matthews Warehouse, Grateful Dead Rex Foundation. All those bands have such great communities and followings that want to channel that energy and do good with it. So we saw an opportunity with the Goose family and wanted to kind of harness that energy and put it back into the communities that we travel through. So on tours, we will select a local beneficiary that fits into one of our pillars of music education, music therapy, supporting women and children, or environmental sustainability. Kind of gives us a broad reach. And they have to be smaller, so under $1 million operating budget. We really like to get those grassroots ones and make a big difference. We're not just throwing little checks at big organizations. We like to give a substantial donation to these organizations. And I work with Cari on highlighting those organizations and doing a little more in the visibility campaign. So maybe Cari wants to talk a little bit about what we do there.
That's a great segue into kind of my main role within the organization since I've come on almost 2 years ago, a little over a year and a half ago. So what does make us different, like Sarah mentioned, is for all of our beneficiaries that we select, we do a visibility campaign on our platforms, our social platforms for them. What we do is we highlight the programming of that organization. We will use some of the social media that they already have available on their platforms and do reposts. We've done a variety of different things depending on the organization. For example, our most recent beneficiary, Artists Creating Together, they were seeking out teaching artists to come into their community and teach in the classroom. We put an ask out for that. We've done promotion of events for our beneficiaries on their behalf. So, the whole model is it's more than just giving a financial gift at the end of the campaign that we're fundraising for. It's really raising awareness and bringing visibility to these smaller organizations that are on the ground and really making a difference in these communities.
Outstanding.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what's cool too is we've gotten to bring those people into our community too. We always like to find a way that the beneficiary can come experience Goose, and it's happened multiple times. Even some youth out of Detroit got to come to a sound check. Girls out of a Kids Rock Detroit camp, the beneficiary and SPAC came to SPAC, and they're just like mind blown. It's so cool to be able to share. So they're getting way more than just money. They're getting, in some sense, life changing experiences.
And that being said, too, there's a reciprocal relationship the other way, too. For example, our beneficiary for the SPAC run was an organization called Therapeutic Horses Saratoga, and they would take retired racehorses and use them for therapeutic purposes. Sarah and another one of our board members, Angela, actually went out to their farm and got to see the animals on site.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that's the full circle touch,
Yeah, it really goes a long way. We couldn't do it without the amazing Goose community. Like, the support is overwhelming. So we're just so grateful we get to do this and share it and have people feel close to those beneficiaries too.
It's just so cool. And how y'all find these organizations. Every time I see one that you list, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I've never even heard of this. And makes you want to jump in and help out. But we got a little ahead of ourselves, I think, getting so excited to chat with y'all. I wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourselves first, because we've been chatting with you for a while here now, and just let everyone know like who you are and what you do for Western Sun Foundation.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, we did kind of just dive in head first there. So I'm Sarah Blazincic. I live in Pittsburgh. I'm a major Goose fan, obviously. I think we all are. But I started my jam band journey. I guess I could say I owe tribute to Dave Matthews. That's where it started. But then I really Humphreys McGee in 2007. That's where I really dove head first. Saw a lot of Humphreys McGee shows, and then fell into the rest of it: Fish, Cheese, Mo, all the fun stuff. Was reluctant at Goose at the beginning. Had some good friends really dive in 2018, and was like, I don't know, I don't have time for a new jam band yet. And then I just fell madly in love with them. And I was like, wow, I didn't know I could feel this way about music again. Like I felt like I was 18 seeing Humphreys again, and I was like, I'm too old to feel this way again. I don't have time, but it's a great feeling. It's so fun, and then finding the community and finding new friends, and just realizing we get to be here, and it's so exciting to have that future. In my day job, I came from nonprofit. I graduated from Western Michigan in Kalamazoo. Um, I did a lot of public relations, nonprofit fundraising. I now run a co-working space and event innovation center, and kind of uplift nonprofits and startups in the Pittsburgh community. So that's my day job, and also a mom of two young girls. So I find time when I can to get to shows, but this is really just a passion project, and just feel really fortunate to be able to do it with such awesome people like our amazing board and Cari.
So I'm Cari Bryce. I live just outside Philadelphia. I am a mother of three, and I'm a Goose fan. And how my journey to Goose came to be is one that I'd never expected. I was never really involved in the jam band community. My husband is a huge Fish fan. We have a very close friend base here who are into Fish and other jam bands, but that wasn't really me. That's not to say, I'm a Friend fan, so that's not to say that I haven't been to several Fish shows with my friends, but it wasn't really my thing. And we had a good friend, we still have him as a friend, who was telling us, you got to listen to this band Goose. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Go listen to your band Goose. And my husband was playing it in our kitchen one day, and I heard it, and I was like, what is this? And then I never looked back. So it's been quite a journey. It's a community that I didn't know existed. I didn't expect it to exist because this hasn't been my scene. So it was a pleasant surprise. And the people that I've met in this community along this journey has been remarkable. To connect with Western Sun Foundation, like I said, it was probably about a little over a year and a half ago. The already established Western Sun Foundation was looking for some assistance doing social media and marketing posts. And I said, I can do that, because in my day job, in my other life, I do social media and marketing support. I actually work with my husband. He's a loan officer, and I do his social platforms and do event planning and that type of thing. So I was like, well, this is kind of like a jumping off. And it was just kind of a good match. I felt like I hit the ground running, and came in and was able to provide the entity support that it needed. And it's really been a remarkable journey to see the growth, not only, within how our board has changed and grown and evolved, but in regards to the beneficiaries that we've selected, the financial gift that's being afforded to them through the community. It just is on a constant upward trajectory, and it's all due to the community that's supporting us behind the scenes. It's really something remarkable.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of the most special communities.
Yeah, it's a great community. And I don't know if I mentioned my role too, but my role is I'm the president. And I guess my working role is I kind of work as like the executive director. But we all work together as a team and I'll jump in when we can. It's like, hey, I'll take that. I'll take that. So we meet as a board once a month and kind of divvy out tasks and stay connected that way. So it's a really awesome working board that we've gotten to. And we're very fortunate.
You can tell. It seems like a very, very great relationship you all have.
Yeah, it's a very collaborative environment. We have a really good team in place right now, and everybody wants to find a way to help. And everybody is passionate and committed to this upward trajectory that we're on. And it makes the day-to-day easier because you have a solid team behind you.
That's absolutely incredible. I am a little curious, though. Can you tell us all a little bit about like how it was at the beginning? Like, how did this like actually just first come together? And like, were there any like struggles initially that you had to overcome as an organization, like in the beginning days?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's taken a lot to get where we are now. So we started off, it started as a collaborative between two different projects. One project was goosecommunity.com, and then Western Sun Foundation was like a side project that was going to own goosecommunity.com. And that was an amazing effort put together by lots of different volunteers. Great work done. But then as it came down to it, the foundation kind of took off and the mission behind it took off. And then we didn't have the capacity to like run and own a website anymore. So unfortunately, Goose Community fell off, and we have other awesome fan ran websites like elgoose.net and Ted Honks and all those really cool community ones. But we were able to kind of run with the mission of the organization and slowly build a board of committed people behind the mission of transforming that energy into action and working to raise money and give it back to the communities. Like that was our sole purpose. There's always challenges, especially a lot of things I've learned a lot along the way. And I think with any of this, there's always going to be people that come along or come find the organization for the wrong intentions. Maybe think that they can get to the band somehow, or there's always going to be challenges and just different intentions than what our mission is. So kind of getting past that and just little people be like, well, I'll donate, but I want to hang out with Rick. And it's like, well, I can't really exchange that for you. First of all, we're all volunteer here. We don't have direct access. We have complete support of the band, but we don't, we're not directly under them. So we are fully supported. They love what we do. They provide amazing funding, amazing exposure, and are just so supportive. So we're so grateful for them and management. And they're always, willing to get behind us if we have an idea. But we don't have direct access to backstage passes for people who give donations. It's not a transactionary thing. So I guess just weeding that out has been a little challenging that you hadn't known. But for the most part, everyone is amazed at what we do and just wants to give back and actually enjoy the shows and then feel good doing it by supporting a local organization. So that's very, very minuscule in the grand scheme. Overall, it's been overwhelmingly positive and life-changing for all who've been involved. So we're grateful.
Yeah, you see the growth of the donations over time. You guys post on your socials and all of that, and it's just a remarkable growth from that standpoint. And you kind of alluded to a little bit, and we talked with Cari about this a little bit when we were in Milwaukee together about how the band became involved, how that all came about, and if the support of the band has really helped with increasing visibility and reaching goals and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we had this first idea, we wanted to run it by them just to make sure we earned their trust. We wanted to show them that we were going to do things right. We are here for the right reasons. We're not trying to make money or do anything malicious. And so we met with them initially before we filed. we wanted approval to use the name. We wanted all of that stuff. So ever since the get-go, we've been very transparent, and they've been fully supportive. And then ever since then, we've been so thankful for them to do things like a t-shirt fundraiser or the Black Friday give-a-thon, or, their idea was the SPAC golf outing, and then a few of them showed up and were teeing off people's golf balls. It was so exciting. So they're always willing to support and hear our ideas, and we just wanted to really earn their trust and make sure that we're transparent along the way and having a good image for them. And we want to make sure that we're in line with the brand and everything.
And so, like, obviously the band is probably like the single most helpful thing for visibility and for like encouraging all the donations and all the success with this. But is there anyone like outside of Goose, like any other partners that maybe have been helpful or instrumental in your success there?
Good question. Good question. Really just the fans. We've had people come out of the woodwork, the fan artists. Let's do that, a shout out for them, because they're always willing to support us with auctions, with donations. We have people that are so creative and reach out and say, I collect the recent one. I saw the email today, Cari, of I collect things from estate sales, and I have all these unique Goose things, and I want to donate them to you, and you do something with them. So people like that really just blow our minds and want to support us in their unique creative ways has been awesome along the way. I don't know if Cari, if you can think of others.
I do have a little add-on to that. As everybody knows, and especially Alex and Mike, because I saw you there, the flow down scene is really starting to ramp up. And, the fan artists that are organizing these flow downs are inviting us and giving us space with a table at these events. We've done a handful of them at this point now, and the visibility that we're getting from the scene, in addition to the monetary contributions that we're receiving from the community that's stopping by our table, that's making a difference for us. So to have that available, and it seems as if the flow downs are continuing onward. It seems they're going to be kind of a set thing going forward. We're very grateful for those who have invited us to have some space at those events.
It is something really unique about the Goose community. I feel like even seeing other scenes in the jam band world is that everyone is so like symbiotic and willing to pull people in and help out and like try to like prop each other up in the best kind of way. And the flow downs are a great encapsulation of that. Like, I was so glad we got to meet you for a little bit there, Cari. Hoping to meet you sometime soon, Sarah. And yeah, it's just a great way to get to know more of the community, and having Western Sun Foundation like front and center there, I think is probably, in my opinion at least, the most important table you can have there to try to kind of make sure that we're encouraging the fans while they're shopping a little bit for themselves to also be philanthropic.
Yeah, it's super fun. I did the one in Grand Rapids, and it's just so cool to see everyone there and hype, and the energy so high. We had a really cool DJ. The venue participated, donated back to us some drink sales. They made a Western Sunrise drink. It was super fun. So I can't wait to see how those take off. And all the people that plan those are just awesome. So we definitely appreciate being included in that and hope it can be a staple to some of these runs. I know there's some coming up, so we're looking forward to being a part of that.
So you just touched on that a little bit. Maybe we're jumping around a little bit, but where are you all expecting to be this summer? Where can people expect to see Western Sun Foundation if they're on the road for some summer shows?
Yeah, I think we're going to try and spread out and hit what we can. We're always looking for volunteers to help table shows, but for right now, it's kind of spread out around where the board's going to be. I know I'll be in 2 nights of Cleveland, so Western Sun will be there. I think there's going to be a flow down in Indy. Western Sun will be there. Tour opener in Bend. We're really hoping to shoot. One of our board members, Allie, is out in Bend, so we're hoping to be out there. And what about you, Cari?
I'm looking at the 2 St. Louis shows, which would be the only back-to-back shows that I'd be able to make it to for the June run. And MSG is a possibility. a little lighter on the shows for this June tour than last year, but we have some family stuff going on. But what we do, we're all volunteers. So we actually just had a board meeting last night, and that was one of the topics of conversation is, where do you think that you could get to? We have a shared document, drop it in there, and then we'll kind of map this out and figure out, who's going to be where. And it's the shifting of table materials, it's the kind of the admin component of it too, not just having somebody out on the scene. So we're kind of actively doing all of that right now. But as Sarah mentioned, we want to be at as many shows as we can be at. The band's very gracious to give us space to table within the venues. So if there are volunteers looking to do that, that's something that we would absolutely love to hear from people about.
Well, and definitely jumping around a little bit, but if someone was interested in getting involved with Western Sun or volunteering at a show, how would they reach out to go about doing that?
Yeah, so they can PM us on socials, visit our website, westernsunfoundation.org. There is a volunteer inquiry form on there. You can fill that out, but we're super accessible on socials. It's usually either me or Cari. So say what's up or comment on a post or reach out anyway. We'll get back to you.
Awesome. And backtracking just a little bit, we can have people reach out and be volunteers, anyone who wants to participate. But how about the folks that we've referred to a little bit that make up the board who are active contributors with Western Sun Foundation all the time that couldn't make it on today? Do you want to shout anyone out within the organization and kind of let us know who else is a part of the board?
Yeah, for sure. I'll shout them all out because they're rock stars. Angela Lindsay is kind of my partner in crime in starting the organization. She did some crucial, she calls it her thesis statement because she's a nurse practitioner and she helped us to file our paperwork, our 501c3 and incorporation and business plan and all that. So we worked hard together on all that. Steph Belcher is also a founding member. She was initially our treasurer. We've kind of all shifted positions a little bit. And so Angela and Steph are still members. Cari, awesome, is here, obviously. Chelsea Long is a new member, and we are super thankful to have her. Kevin Donovan out of Boston, he has taken the role of secretary, and he does so great for us and has been working on some of our filings. And then our most recent member, Allie Stone, who's out in Bend, and she works for Conscious Alliance. So we're super excited to have her expertise on the team, and we'll see some fun things coming from her soon.
Amazing stuff. And then I guess this is kind of like a two-parter, but and you touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but what does the process look like, I guess, on the one hand for determining which organizations you're going to work with next, and then how do you determine what types of outreach and events to do? Is it catered to the organization you're going to be working with or supporting? What does that look like in practice, I guess?
So as Sarah mentioned, we have giving pillars within our organization, and all of our beneficiaries need to fall into one of those. That would be music therapy, music education, the well-being of women and children, or environmental sustainability. So that's the framework that we're working with. As far as picking individual beneficiaries, kind of logistically speaking, we do try to focus around bigger runs that the band is doing. And we do that because we make a conscious effort to be on the scene and at those shows for fundraising purposes, because it is, it's kind of the mission behind what we're doing at Western Sun Foundation is to support local nonprofits in the communities that Goose travels through. So when there's a larger run or a significant run, a significant venue, we tend to pick a beneficiary that's logistically located near there. So for example, our most recent beneficiary, Artists Creating Together, are right out of Grand Rapids because that was our beneficiary for the short winter run. So looking forward, this was a topic of conversation that we had last night in our board meeting. How do we want to structure this going forward? We know when tour is going to kick off. We know we have El Gonzo. We are, a U.S. registered 501c3, so we can't do fundraising in Mexico. So kind of that's then off the table. So that's something that we strategize just together as a team. And it also depends on where we can be, where we can get people out to. So all of that's kind of in the works right now. for the upcoming, what are we calling it? Are we calling it summer, pre-summer tour? Whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
The June tour.
Yeah, summer.
There's not a good name.
No, it's hard. And we in the past it was like, okay, we're doing Red Rocks, Goose Miss, Cap, and Stack. You know, it's like big ones that we know people are gonna be at. We can do something really cool, like the golf outing. And one of my favorites was, I wasn't even able to be there, but it was so cool. In Red Rocks, we partnered with Feel the Beat. And Cari got to be there, and Goose did that pop up merch thing downtown on 16th Street, I think it was, at that venue. And so we were able to actually have Feel the Beat, which is an organization who provides tactile flooring for people with disabilities and hearing impairments. So they can actually go to venues. They're working with venues all over Colorado to have this flooring installed so that they can actually feel the music and be a part of these shows. They work to have the sign language interpreters there and provide music classes and all different things for youth in Colorado. So that was so cool. They actually brought that tactile flooring to the pop-up, the merch pop-up, and people were able to try it out and feel what it feels like. So it was just really cool. We try and have the beneficiaries involved, and we want to bring them so that the community knows what they're supporting. They're not just dropping money in a bucket for Western Sun. They don't know where it's going. They know exactly where it's going. It's right here. It's with, you know, so and so from this organization, and they see it. It's tangible, or feel it in their feet. So we did try and pick bigger runs, and we always try and pick impactful organizations that we can somehow partner and bring to the community too.
And just to add on to that too, we did a couple of things that were a little bit different in the past year, where we were able to respond kind of real time to natural disasters and different things happening out across the United States, specifically the hurricanes back in the fall, and then the LA wildfires in January, where we were able to come together and kind of do smaller one-off fundraising campaigns for entities that were out there doing the work in real time. So that evolution of Western Sun, I think, is really cool, because it's not only a reflection of the strength and stability of us as a board to be able to put the energy and the time into doing something kind of like it's a pivot, but it also is, a testament to where we are from a financial perspective, that we can kind of pull the trigger on it and move money out as well. So it's something that, that's one of the biggest things that I've been proud of in the past year, is the ability for us to come together, quick thinking, and really make an impact for those who are suffering.
Yep. Showing people we can put it where it's needed.
Yeah, that's about as perfect as you can do it, in my opinion. Really proud to have you all on to talk about this, because we're learning as you go too, and just it blows our mind even more than what we already knew.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
So you talked about some of the quick moving on some of the natural disasters and things like that, and some of the past events you've done. I was curious if you wanted to highlight any more of the past events that you've done, maybe even kind of going from like the smallest that you guys started out with, and then anything else that we haven't talked about yet.
Cool. Yeah. So I'll start with our first one ever. So our first one ever, we incorporated in August of 2022, but we did not have our 501c3. So we figured when we submit that, it's going to take months. And so we're like, we announced as an organization, we shared our mission. We want people to know who we are, but we can't actually collect funds yet. So we started a visibility campaign, our first ever. It was called Peasley Neighborhood Center, and it was it was near Cincinnati, because it was the New Year's run, Andrew Brady Center, and in the 2022 New Year's run. And we started channeling funds to them. Like, they set up a page for us, and we were like, donate to them, and then you'll be entered into our raffle. But we want them to get the money. So we were sending money directly to them. And then I think it was like December 2nd or 12th, maybe. It was very early in December. We got our letter back. it took 3 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. It was like record timing. And we were
Wow.
just losing it. Like, oh my gosh, okay, we're a 501c3. Pivot. Stop donating to them. Now donate to us and we'll give it to them. And so then we started our own little fundraiser so that people could donate directly to us. So we were finally collecting our own funds. So then we could show that we were completing, what our 501c3 states and what we filed as is we're going to collect funds and then we're going to give them to this organization. So we were able to raise over $3,000 from them, both directly and from us. And so that was cool. We had a little raffle where it was like a donation incentive. I guess you're not supposed to use the word raffle. So we didn't have a raffle. We had a donation incentive where you got to, if you donated, you were entered to win some cool prizes. And we collected those rather quickly. So that was fun, weird pivot. And we were just learning. We were able to have a table there and it was just very surreal. It was one of those things where we were sharing our mission and you like had to remember what we do and then you hear it out loud and you're like, wow, we're doing it. This is it. We're actually doing it and people are on board and it's working. So that was like our first thing. And yeah, maybe Cari has a good one. I know there's been so many that are so fun.
I mean, everyone's been different. At Goosemas in 2023, our beneficiary was an entity called Soundscapes, and the band actually organized a kind of a limited vendor flow down. We weren't using the word flow down then. I think we were trying to get Wisteria Lane to stick, and it didn't. But there was a vendor market, we'll call it that, outside the Coliseum, and we were invited to table there. And it was a really nice moment because Soundscapes would they do music education for Title I schools in the Hampton area. And they had kids who were currently enrolled in the program come out to the vendor market and play Christmas songs. There was a French horn, there was a clarinet. We had people from the community join them in song, and they kind of walked around. I don't know if you guys are at that Goosemas. There were, people were just in line waiting to get into the venue for the majority of the day. So these kids came in, they provided entertainment. Some people were trying to throw tips at them. And, the woman from Soundscapes, like, you can't take that money. But it was nice. It was very engaging. And that was like a real time, like, wow, look at this. This is more than just having a piece of paper or a sticker or some lit on our table that's telling people who we're benefiting. The kids are here. It's not even just, the administration's there, like the kids are here. And there was a real good connection. There were lots of smiles there. It was just like it was a joyous type of event. So that was a super fun one for me, but they're all different. And we're, not only providing financial gifts to these entities, we ourselves as board members of Western Sun Foundation, we're establishing relationships with the people who are the admins at our beneficiaries. And we've received some really beautiful feedback from them on their appreciation for us. They are, as an all-volunteer organization specifically, they are kind of in awe on what we're able to complete. And that gives me the warm and fuzzies, because this is a passion project. And to have people recognize exactly the time and the energy, the thought and the care that you're putting into it, put the money aside. It's the relationship. We have heartwarming moments together as a board every time we close out a campaign. Because it's not just the good feeling of being able to give that money back. We always get feedback from our beneficiaries, and it's really, really heartwarming. It's the connection is something that I didn't anticipate, but I'm here for it.
For sure. When they get the call, I'm sure they're like, wait, you're who? And you follow a band and you want to do what now? And you have to we have to convince them that we're not spamming. Like, yes, we want to give you $8,000 because we're there to see concerts. And they're like, wait, you're traveling to Grand Rapids and seeing the same concert 3 nights in a row and you want to give us money? And we're like, yes. And actually 10 of them from Grand Rapids from that organization went to the shows after having asked that question. So that was pretty cool. And in total, I just wanted to shout it out. We have supported 18 organizations totaling over $70,000 since our inception in that fateful December in 2022.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's been a ride, and we're excited to continue on. Keep on keeping on.
So, switching gears completely out of left field here, and if there's not an answer, it's totally fine. But is there been anything that you would say like the most unexpected or even funny thing that's happened while running the foundation? We only ask questions that make you think here at the Slow Ready Pod.
Right? It's hard.
We're thinking.
Lots of funny things. It's always unexpected when people come up and they're like there was a lady that came up when we went to the cap run, and that's making me think of more things. But she came up and she was on the board of Pearl Jam's I think their wish list or something, like I forget what their organization is called. I'd have to look it up real quick. But they have a similar one. She was on their board and she came up and she had heard of us. And we had based our business plan on them to be able to explain what we wanted to do. And that's always, a heavy hitter name that people could understand. So that was pretty cool when people come up and they have heard of us, and we were like, wait, we built our mission off of you. So that was very inspiring. And I guess, the unexpected things, we're always excited when we get a shout out at that very cap run when they did the podcast, and it was Array Below, and they shouted out to Western Sun. So we're super, super thankful for that. I wish I had something funny. We brought a bunch of girls from Detroit. They completed a Girls Rock Detroit program where it's like a 2-week incentive. Intensive. They try and learn an instrument, and then at the end of the 2 weeks they perform. So that was our beneficiary in summer of 2023. So September of 2023, when the band was in Detroit, we reached out and asked if we could bring the girls. And this is girls in Detroit, like they're producing, making DJ, all different types of music, not jam band music. And we reached out and asked if we could bring them to sound check, and they said yes. So we brought 6 or so girls and their chaperones from Detroit to the Masonic Temple for sound check, and it was full Getty lights, the band figuring out what they were going to play, and these 6 girls ages 8 to 13 there watching in awe and just taking it all in. And then they were able to ask questions at the end, and they were all so shy that only one girl did. But it was just so cool that the band's willing to support these initiatives and give these experiences back.
Core memory. That's got to be a core memory for them.
For sure. And me.
Well, right.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit, Sarah, about the total donation figure, but did you want to shout out any of the individual growth of the donations over time, or the biggest accomplishments since kind of getting started, or any milestones maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of hit the ground running. Our goal was always to be, let's give a big amount that's why we only did 4 campaigns a year. We started off let's do a fall run, Goose Miss, a spring run, and summer, so that we could give those bigger amounts. But like I said, that first run, we ended up giving 1,000 because we channeled, I think, over 3,000 to them directly. So we can only say that our foundation only gave them 1,000. But right after that was already up to 5,400. And then we kind of fluctuated from there. We did one community-led campaign, which was cool, where we asked the community to nominate a beneficiary, and then we had a wide vote. So the community got to pick the beneficiary. And that was between 6 organizations. We picked one to win, which was Breast Wishes out of Dayton, Ohio. They grant wishes for women with breast cancer. So that was the winner. But then, because of the overwhelming support, we were able to give all the other nominees $1,000 too. So everybody was a winner. And so that was cool. Yeah. So now we're kind of upward trajectory, and we want to stick with that for our big campaigns, that $8,000 mark, and hopefully maybe we'll get to 10,000. That will be cool. But we want to be able to reserve some funds too for those satellite missions when there is a need and people are like, hurry, there's a hurricane, we want to do something, then we can kind of pivot and have some side funding too. So yeah, we're only going up from here, but overall between 18 organizations, $70,000, it's over more than that. So it's been great. We also want to start working more on volunteer events. We've done a few of those where people get together on the second day of a run or before a show, and they're able to pack some kits or do some food sorting or organizing, something like that. So we're going to hopefully have some more of those. It's cool when you can get the community together and do some good and feel good before a show.
Absolutely. And this kind of leads perfectly into what was going to be our next question either way, but you talked a little bit about doing like more volunteer work and also being able to like respond in like emergency situations. Are there any other like big long-term goals for Western Sun moving forward that you'd like to hit or you'd like to see developed?
I could talk in the short term. Long term is always, just to keep growing and keep doing what we're doing. We'd love to do the SPAC golf outing was such a hit. So eventually we'd like to do some more events like that, fundraising events, maybe a disc golf outing, maybe a 5K, maybe a bowling match, something. So lots of ideas floating around and always trying to be creative, and things will come as we continue to grow, I'm sure. In the short term, we're going to launch a newsletter. So that's a little sneak peek that you can look out for. We're going to start hopefully collecting emails. So if you want to hear from us and get that info, see where we're going to be, get some shout outs, we're going to have a fun, cool newsletter. We don't know the cadence of that yet, but that will be coming soon. So look out for that. And we will have a way that you can submit your email to receive it.
We definitely can't wait to see that. So that's super exciting. Did not know that was in the works. Did you have any other questions left over?
No, I think we hit most of them. The last one I had, we already talked through, was just how can anyone get involved who wants to, if you want to shout that out one more time. But otherwise, I think we can move on to our sillier portion of the show, unless there's anything else you want to shout out about Western Sun before we get into that.
I'll say one more thing. We have a very active social platform. It's the primary way that we reach our community. The newsletter, the forthcoming newsletter, was a conscious pivot on our part to try to get out of just the socials and get more into people's inboxes. But all of this being said, our social platform is not going away and will continue to stay active. So if people really want to see what we're doing and how we're doing it, I encourage everyone to follow us on Instagram and Facebook or Western Sun Foundation. You can see what happens during our active campaigns, which is when we do our visibility and awareness. And then you can see what's happening in between our campaigns. So that's kind of, what we're doing when there is no tour happening actively, because we're still doing a lot of stuff. So it's worth a follow to kind of keep everybody in our space. So that's my plug for that.
I have one more thing to add too. In the birth of the newsletter, we've been chatting as a board and we're just so grateful. We talk about how this community is so amazing and people love what we do, and that is not lost on us because they support us so much. But we just want to make sure that the fans feel the love back from us, because we're so appreciative. Like, we love our beneficiaries, we show them the love, we highlight them all the time, but the community is the real heroes out there, like giving us a platform and avenue and a community to do this for the beneficiaries. And they're always so grateful, and we're so grateful too. So shout out. Thank you so much.
Goose people are the best people in my experience. So
yeah,
let's keep doing good.
And thank
people.
you guys for having us and giving us a platform.
Truly our pleasure.
Oh, of course. It is our pleasure. And I handle most of the social stuff for the podcast. I do my best to try to reshare y'all's posts whenever I can. But if we miss one and you want us to promote something, please don't be shy, because we are
really
terrible at social media.
I don't think
thank
you're
you.
terrible at it. I notice it, and it is well received. Thank you for doing that.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into this section here that we do with all of our interviews, which is just some silly rapid fire questions to get you to know you a little bit better. So we just kind of go through real quickly here, and it always starts off with favorite Goose song for both of you.
Does it have to be just one? It's really tricky.
I know. I almost said Western Sun because, but
That's a popular
I'll just,
answer.
Elmeg. Final answer.
Understanding
Horse.
the assignment, one word answers is what we're going for.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Family Feud.
I have a couple, current rotations, but I'm going to go with my OG, which is Dark Horse.
Ooh,
Love that. Great answer. Both are great answers, honestly. Both outstanding. So pivoting off of that, what's been your favorite Goose show you've been to?
Oh, it's always the last one, isn't it? Just kidding. I'm gonna say, Night 2 SPAC.
I'm going to go with Night 2 Resonance 2023.
Oh, okay. I love it. Both great answers.
SPAC Night 2 from last year?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I was there. That was an amazing show.
it was great. That drive.
It was I was with Sarah for that show, and that's definitely her favorite show. We had some moments.
And I was at home watching with FOMO.
At least you could stream,
Yeah. Updates.
And then sometimes people don't have an answer for this one, but favorite jam if you have one.
I thought about this earlier because I thought you might ask. The drive is up there. That drive is a big one, but also the Arcadia from Mission Ballroom. Is that 2022? 2021?
Yeah.
That one's up there for me.
My favorite, which I don't know if it really gets much street cred, but it resonated with me when Goose played in Boston in September of 2023. It was Leaderbank. I think it was Night 2. The Lead the Way. It was the slow, kind of very soulful Lead the Way jam, and
Uplifting.
It left me in tears, and I turned to my husband. I said, "They did it! They did it!"
It made me cry.
If you haven't listened to it, it's absolutely beautiful. It's by far my favorite jam, hands down.
It's gorgeous. I have listened to it recently.
Yeah, we did an episode on all of the songs from Moon Cabin a while ago, and we definitely shouted that out. I'm not sure if it made the editing cut by the end of it because of us getting new with podcasting and audio flubs, but we definitely listened and talked about it.
Oh, good. All right. Similar company here.
So if the answer is Goose, it's Goose, but who's your favorite musician or band? And if it is Goose, who's your second favorite?
Well, my favorite is Goose. That's just the answer. As far as a second, I don't know. I've been to a variety of different concerts over the past couple of years because I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I'm either going to see Goose or I'm seeing Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter or Tate McRae. I saw a little Shabuzi in December. So it's really a mixed bag. I have 3 kids, so most of our away time is associated with traveling for Goose shows. So my husband and I aren't really seeing other bands at this time, but I do like to take my kids out to see music. So I'm kind of working the tween set, but I do enjoy it. It's I'm a Swiftie and I'm into Goose. I said it.
It's a good crossover. Goose is my favorite band currently. Yes. It took me a long time to admit that, but I'm fully in because it's just that battle. But I love it, and it's just so great. But Humphreys McGee is my rock and my heart, and also Super B4L love the Disco Biscuits. So that's probably who I want to see most, other than Goose. And I get to see Spafford next week, so that's exciting too.
Excellent. Awesome answers, y'all.
Yeah. Fantastic answers. And then next up, favorite concert venue.
So inside, the Cap like blew me away. There's something about that place. That was my first and only time there was the 2023. Something with the Garcias right there. There's just something super special about it. Outdoors, the Mishawaka Amphitheater in Colorado. It's very special.
I could do an indoor-outdoor split as well. I was very blown away by the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Not only the history around it, but the staff there was over the top. I had lots of conversations, taking selfies, they were very nice people, and it was just a really beautiful venue. As far as an outdoor venue, I'm from Philly, and the Mann Music Center is pretty special. Not only because of its size and the amphitheater style, but the ability to have a parking lot and to have kind of like a pre-show scene is a little bit rare these days. And Philly brings it, and they brought it last summer in June. And the Mann is special to me because it is very close to where I live too. So those would be my answers.
Honorable mention to the tumble at the Mann last summer, for sure.
Jam of the Year just won yesterday, I believe, from time of recording. I knew y'all were our people from just talking earlier, but Sarah brought up Mission Ballroom, Arcadia earlier. Cari's talking about my old stomping grounds, Atlanta, and my new hometown shows from Philly. I had my high school prom at the Fox Theater. I tell that story every time.
Whoa,
brings it up.
You didn't.
So,
how
did.
Cool. That's epic.
That
It's a great story.
It is special. It's a special place. And the Mann also special. So outstanding answers. I need to familiarize myself with all these epic Colorado venues that everyone brings up on our show, Mike. But that sounds outstanding, Sarah.
Yeah, I had no clue. I felt like such an idiot when she said that. I've never heard of this
the Poudre
Colorado.
Canyon. Oh, the Mishawaka, the Poudre Canyon. There's a really, I don't know if you're Humphreys fans, but the '09 Wappy from the Mish is a notable jam.
I've never been to Colorado though. I guess I got to get out there.
Yeah, get out there. I mean, everybody says Red Rocks, but the Mish is like super special.
I would like to give honorable mention to Luna Luna, because that was pretty spectacular, and that falls into a genre of its own.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, that is
space
a
venue.
whole different animal. And I somehow missed you there, Cari. I was so immersed by the experience. I was like lost by myself in there, basically.
Well, hopefully you weren't lost in the mirror maze and you were just lost in a sea of people. That was incredibly, it was really something special.
I was lost in both. I tried to film in the mirror maze, and I kept bumping into the wall.
That's mistake number one, yeah.
So sticking to the venue theme here, keep things moving. Is there a go-to food or concession that you have at a show?
I got a lot of pizza when I was at the Cap.
That's because the pizza at the Cap is the best pizza. I've done the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I did get that chicken sandwich at MSG. Yeah, not what it's all cracked up to be. That section, what is it, 119 chicken sandwich? Yeah, no. And I was pregnant, and I was there for MSG New Year's Fish, and I was like, I just really want the chicken sandwich. And I went, and I was like, okay, this is not what they talk about. So if you guys are going there in the summer, I don't recommend it.
I think it's overrated too, but people love it.
Yeah.
So ever since Goosemas 2024 this past year, popcorn seems to be the theme. I don't know if you guys remember from attending the shows there. You walked into the venue and it was like 16 movie theaters just popcorn.
Were they like the huge bags? Like
it
really
was just,
big?
I don't know where it was coming from, to be honest with you. Like the concessions are kind of tucked off the main corridor, almost in their own separate room. And that had to have been where they were popping it, but you could just smell popcorn everywhere. So popcorn's the theme now. Like it just stuck.
I'm pretty sure everyone's clothes who attended still smell like butter. It was
wild.
A smelling place.
That is like probably the last thing I want to eat. I just don't feel like I could eat popcorn. I don't know.
Do you have any big Chase songs left with Goose? Or I guess it could be covers because Goose does cover everything.
I have strong feelings about this. There is a cover that I'm chasing. I really hope I get it. It's probably not going to happen, but can we bring Doctor My Eyes back? It's been a couple years. And every show, I'm like, this is the show. It never happens. But that would be my chase. At this point, for their actual catalog, I think I've gotten most, if not the entire catalog. I'd like to have a little more Burns Within mixed in because that song is absolutely beautiful. But I have gotten it a couple of times. So I feel fortunate in that regard. But if anybody out there from the band is listening, Doctor My Eyes is on the wish list.
That's a good one. I have, this is a very sore subject because I am angry. I have anger. But every time I want to see Fish in the Sea, they play the show before I go. And it is now a running joke because it's just inevitable that it's going to happen. And I have yet to see my Fish in the Sea. So, if anyone's listening there, that is my biggest one. Also, they haven't done it. I don't know if they'll do it again, but the LPGOB All I Need cover, I was definitely chasing that one. But I'll see 726 every show. They could play that every show. I've seen it, but I would see it every show too.
I think we can start a campaign for y'all. That's not a problem.
Cool.
We'll get it sorted out. If we can get Eye to Eye to come back for folks at New Year's Eve after 6 years, like we can make anything happen. So
I love that one. I too with Disney. My daughter is 4 and she wants me to play Disney. And when that comes on, like it came on the other day on the way to preschool, I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is a banger. Like, let's go. We'll listen to Disney if the original Eye to Eye is on.
Awesome. So leaving Goose, because I can't imagine this is the answer for that. What's the first album each of you ever bought?
I have my answer. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Let's go.
Vinyl, yes, because what was that, 85, 86? I was a child.
That's amazing. Mine's going to age me differently. So I remember having Nirvana Unplugged I had it on cassette and I listened to that before bed. Very, very little. So that's what I attribute to as the first one that was played for me a lot. My own first that I got was the Now 2 CD.
That's what I call music now. That one?
Now 2.
Oh yeah.
Now 2. Yep.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. That's a blast back. Do they still make those? I wonder.
Oh, wait, and it might not even have been Now 2 because that's 84. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know. It'd have to be like Now 300 or 1,000. I don't even know.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, Janet Jackson was on there.
I haven't thought about Now Music in at least 20 years. That's amazing.
Oh, the latest release, Now 117th, was last released in April.
Only 117. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They are slacking over there. I did not used to be this way. Switching gears, and sometimes people don't have an answer for it. If you don't, that's fine. But do either of you have a go-to karaoke song?
Mine changes, but I feel like this is a classic. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
And mine is Redneck Woman by Gretchen Wilson.
Oh,
that is so fun.
Polar opposites.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, those are my favorite answers of the night.
Let's see what else we got here. Any bands or artists that's on your bucket list?
Oh, yeah. I just crossed off Stevie Wonder. That was a big one.
Nice.
But bucket list. I definitely want to make a point to see more bigger shows that last. Just like Stevie Wonder, for example, was a big one. I really am into Chapel Roan lately, so I'd love to see her. That's all that can come to mind right now. I've seen a lot of like Elton John. I try and cross those off when they come through. I didn't get to go on the Eras tour like Cari did, so Taylor Swift is up there.
It was pretty epic. It's exactly what they said it was. As far as bucket list for me, I've never seen the Foo Fighters, and that is a band that I would like to see. I'm not sure if that's still a possibility at this point, but, if thinking like legacy, is there an artist that I would have loved to have seen and didn't get the chance before they passed? That would definitely be Michael Jackson.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
Oh,
Pearl Jam is coming this summer. I would go to that for sure.
you definitely should. I went to my first Pearl Jam show last year, and I'm not even a fan.
Yeah.
They were awesome. So
Yeah. Eddie Vedder's just epic.
And Eras Tour, we struck out too. I have a 13-year-old stepdaughter. That's like the hardest ticket ever. Somehow tougher than Luna Luna.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Which is really saying something. Do either of you have a guilty pleasure artist that you like?
I do.
How is it? Oh.
Britney Spears is my girl. The little 90s
Love
Britney Spears coming out, and it makes me feel young again. Because Britney, I'm probably dating myself, but Britney and I are relatively around the same age. So when she hit the scene, I was a late teen, like she was, and it was a whole different genre of music that was coming out. It was very influential, and it resonated. So if I want to kind of think back to the old good times in college when we used to go out dancing, it's like Britney Spears track, throw it on.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. If you asked me like years ago, I would have said like Chapel Roan and Taylor Swift are my guilty pleasures, but now I'm just owning it. I don't even feel guilty about it anymore. So, so I can't even say that I have a guilty pleasure because I'm just gonna own it. But yeah, probably pop girl summer. It's not my typical thing. I'm usually the jam band girly, so switching it up. I guess that's my guilty.
Hey, it's catchy and it makes people feel good, and it's good music is different for everyone. And so I kind of every time we ask this question, Mike, I'm kind of like, I don't really like this guilty pleasure question because you shouldn't feel guilty about what you like. But I'm also the one who put it in here, so it's really my fault.
Yeah, as we get older, we're like, oh, I'm not guilty about shit.
All right, I'm skipping a question here, Mike, because I just thought of this one just before the show. So, if you're at a show, would you rather be stuck next to someone who sings all the lyrics wrong, or someone who's like accidentally slapping you every few minutes because they're flailing around?
I'm going to go with option C, neither.
Yeah,
that sounds really annoying.
I guess, okay, singing the lyrics wrong is you really can't say anything to someone for that. You can kind of tell someone to stop or just dance harder if they're flailing. So I guess if I had to choose, I would choose B. Because
starting war.
I could handle it better.
Is this question based on personal experience, Alex? Has this happened to you before?
This happened at Luna.
Oh, I'm a magnet for it. Every show is something about the bright orange hats my wife and I wear. We attract like the worst of humanity.
Oh no, that's the worst.
That's
or the chompers. Starting with the chompers that are just talking through it all.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if they're singing, they're like listening.
Yeah. kind of.
Not well.
Not well enough to know the words, right?
Right. I mean, do we all know the words to Arrow? I always try and sing Arrow. I'm probably the person singing the wrong words. It's Arrow.
As long as you get like 40% of the words right, like I'm talking about 0% of the words here.
Oh yeah. Why are you trying?
Okay, and we ask a version of this every episode, but it's been tweaked, I see. So, would you rather fight one elephant-sized goose or 50 goose-sized elephants? There's a lot more goose-sized elephants this time around.
Yeah, 10 was too
This
easy,
is
so
a
we
great one.
moved up to fighting 50 of them now.
Making people think more now.
Yeah, definitely. It's 50, right? 50 goose-sized elephants for sure.
Yeah, it used to be 10, but this week
Yeah,
it's 50.
50 goose-sized elephants for sure. One elephant-sized goose? No way. Those are nasty.
I don't think you can tweak it enough at this point, Alex.
Is that always the answer?
I mean, honestly, like when I think about it, sometimes I'm like, I think I'd rather fight one elephant-sized elephant than one goose-sized goose. At times, because goose.
Right. Yeah, because
Much
elephants
we
are
love the
pretty
band, they're
docile.
mean.
The version of that question I've asked before is horse is like one horse-sized duck or duck-sized horses. But usually the large bird is the last thing anyone wants.
How about you, Cari? Which one would you fight? The goose-sized elephant or 50 elephant-sized?
I mean,
Or, sorry,
honestly, guys, I'm still processing this question because I'm a visual learner, so I have these. I'm visualizing the whole thing, and it's kind of scaring me. So I don't know if I really have an answer for you.
You know what? We'll get a graphic made up for our guests for this one. How about that,
Yeah.
Mike? Let's put together a graphic for the visual
Put it on the
learners.
screen.
I'm into it.
I would like a pet goose-sized elephant. We can work that out.
I think we all would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that sounds cute.
All right, getting close to wrapping up here. Both of y'all have kids, so which member of Goose would you trust the most to babysit for you, and which one would you trust the least?
Gosh, that's hard. I don't know. I don't know any of them well enough to like trust them with, or not trust them for that matter. I think Peter would be fun. I think Peter would be fun with kids.
That was going to be my answer as well.
Yeah, I think he'd be fun with kids.
So just be judgy. Like it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I feel like Rick and Trevor would be like, well, Rick would be good with kids. That picture of him with that little boy is so cute. Shoot.
Rick was good with my kids. My kids have met Rick before. They met him at Resonance, and he was very gracious.
Yeah, he is good. Well, we'll just say Cotter because he's the newest. But we don't know him. We don't know him enough yet to trust him with our kids. He hasn't played enough jams. Give him another year.
Also, my answer just by process of elimination, but honestly, everyone's great. We have no ill will.
Yeah. It's all good fun.
All right, and I think this is the last one here. If you had to perform one Goose song live in its entirety on Good Morning America, which song would it be?
Everything Must Go.
Ooh, good one. Hunger Site. They probably would play it, and it makes me want to kick down doors. That's what you need in the morning.
So we just like to close out the episode and let each of y'all plug any of your personal pages, or you want to talk more about Western Sun Foundation. We'll just kind of give each of you a few minutes to talk about whatever you want to plug.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for having us. It's been really fun. It's always a pleasure to talk about the mission in the community, in the band, and this amazing world that we've all fallen into. So thank you for that. Look out for an auction coming up in the spring. We have some super cool items. We're also gathering some items. So if you know anyone with a cool vacation house that they want to auction off, let us know. But there are going to be some great items, and we'll probably do it around the El Ganso time. So everybody have fun in Mexico. And then we'll see you out on summer tour, transforming the energy into action for those communities we travel through.
I echo Sarah's comments, especially thank you so much for having us on, and thank you for doing what you guys are doing. We're receptive to it. You know, the reposts and the support that you give us on your social platforms really expands our network and community. So thank you for taking the time to do that. And yeah, like Sarah said, we're ramping up for spring, summer, and we have some fun stuff that's coming along. And we hope that everybody joins us along for the ride. I'll just plug again that if you're interested in seeing what we're doing, we do have very active social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. So find us, Western Sun Foundation, and follow along.
Absolutely love it. Thank you both so much for being on with us. It was an absolute thrill and a pleasure. So thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
You
you
guys
all
have a
so
great
much.
night.
This was so fun.
So fun.